Harrison Hargrave, Los Angeles business executive, from the annex of a beach hotel near San Francisco, calls his secretary in Los Angeles and requests that she bring by airplane the Thompson file from his desk. She is to meet him at the Alameda port of the Hawaiian Clipper, upon which he has booked passage that afternoon to attend a conference with members of a Honolulu sugar company. Barbara Lane, Hargrave's secretary, assures him that she has ample time to get the file and catch the 11 o'clock United Airlines plane for Oakland. This is the Union Air Terminal at Burbank, the principal airport servicing Los Angeles. Airline tickets are quite similar to those used by railroad companies. There are 46 arrivals and departures at this airport daily. While Miss Lane waits for her plane departure, we will visit the hangar and look over one of the magic carpets of modern travel. 820 gallons of gasoline are poured into the tanks of this huge 21-passenger Douglas transport, sufficient fuel to carry the ship non-stop from Los Angeles to Chicago. Rear of cabin through which one enters when boarding the plane. Looking forward over soft upholstered armchairs and wide carpeted aisles. A roomy and soundproofed interior with personally controlled ventilation. Looking into the mechanical brain of the Skyliner, fitted with every approved aid to aerial navigation to wing it smoothly and swiftly over radio-guarded airways. There are approximately 50 registering dials in the cockpit. Those reporting motor performance and fuel status are located on the right side in front of the co-pilot. Those used to assist in navigation are located on the left side in front of the pilot. And these are the engine controls. This group of instruments constitutes the automatic pilot and is capable of keeping the plane on its course without aid from the pilot. The gyro horizon serves to tell the pilot the exact position of the ship relative to the ground when enveloped in a fog with visibility 0. The parallel line represents the horizon, and it in turn always remains parallel to the horizon. As the plane moves about, the pilot knows whether one or the other wing is high or low, and whether the ship is climbing or descending. In front and above the pilots is located the sensitive two-way radio control. Inspection of one of the twin 1,200 horsepower motors, together more powerful than the average locomotive, each individually capable of sustaining flight at an altitude of 13,000 feet. Landing lights set in the leading edge of the wings, with shields to keep the glare from the pilots, afford ample illumination for landing after dark. The retractable landing gear, which by valve operation recedes into the housing under the wing, thus reducing air resistance and permitting increased speed. The multitude of oil, electrical, and control channels pass through the wheel housings. This loop antenna is resorted to if the other two antennae fail. By revolving it, the pilot can determine from which direction comes the radio signal. The windshield gets serviced so the pilots will have clear vision. The plane is moved to a position across the hangar front for a motor test. In the leading edges of all wing services is a de-icing arrangement to prevent collection of ice. By inflation of air in the long rubber tubes, as you see here, the ice is broken up. Located in the rear compartment is the barograph, an instrument which automatically records certain details of the flight, such as changes in altitude, time of flight, when automatic pilot was in use, and each time the radio phone was used. This represents a flight from Los Angeles to Oakland with a stop at San Francisco. The horizontal line above notes use of automatic pilot, and the line below, that of radio communication. Unless the pilot's log agrees with the barograph sheet, he is not reporting a true account of his trip. Thoroughly inspected, the plane moves up to the passenger gate. Control of air traffic is the responsibility of the Federal Department of Commerce. Ships are assigned certain lanes and altitudes. They are not permitted to change course or altitude except in emergencies, without first obtaining permission from the Traffic Control Office in the territory through which the plane is flying. Every word spoken to and from this office is recorded on this machine. These cylinders, in cases of accident or error, bear witness and place responsibility. Weather reports and plane reports are constantly being forwarded to this office. This type of weather map is issued every 6 hours. It gives the general atmospheric conditions, high and low pressure areas, and their movements. Every 15 minutes upon this large map, the position of every commercial plane in the territory controlled by this office and in the air at the time is spotted, as you see Mr. Steele doing here at the Burbank office. The terminal building from the field. United Airlines Operations Office. Here, just prior to flight time, the pilots receive latest weather reports covering the territory they're to fly and from which they make up their flight plan. This covers estimated time of flight, weather they expect to encounter, altitudes they will fly, when they expect to fly by instrument and when by visual contact with the ground, and other important information. Only with years of training and experience, thousands of hours in the air and qualifying in most rigid physical, mental, and moral examinations are pilots commissioned. And they are re-rated every 90 days. They are truly men of sound judgment and dependability, a credit to our country. The stewardess receives her passenger list before going aboard.
All aboard. United mainliner for San Francisco, Portland, and Seattle. Leaving at gate number 2. All aboard, please.
The air conditioner. It cools the air in the plane during hot weather and warms it during cold weather. The air remains conditioned until the ventilators are used in flight or the motors provide heat for warming the cabin.
United 1 to KBLA. Trip 9, ready to taxi out.
This instrument registers the movements of the weather vane on top of the tower.
KBLA to United 1, clear to taxi out to traffic northwest to southeast. Airway traffic your route reported 6,000 feet.
Airplanes always take off and land against the wind. This permits a quicker and safer takeoff. Therefore, airports have crisscross runways, as you see here. Belts are fastened and no smoking permitted until the plane has left the vicinity of the field. The little lady down the aisle apparently does not like the idea of being strapped in.
United 1 to KBLA, number 9, ready for clearance.
KBLA to United 1, clear for takeoff.
The co-pilot operates the landing gear retracting valve. The black dot and border which you see on the window are sections of sponge rubber which support another and smaller transparency. This prevents window frosting. The stewardess offers magazines, chewing gum, and cigarettes to her guests. 15 in number, believe it or not. Many are hidden by the large, comfortable lounging chairs. The pilots adjust themselves and their instruments for the 2-hour trip to San Francisco as the plane passes over the valley towns near Los Angeles. Barbara Lane and the junior passenger are already interested in the game of contract bridge, with nary a thought that they're being elevated to an altitude of 9,000 feet. In this kitchenette at the rear of the cabin, the stewardess prepares luncheon for her guests. She has available hot coffee and tea, ice water, milk, salads, fruit, cold meats for noon service and complete hot dinners for night service. Here are some of the special smaller trays with covers. which hold plates and cups conveniently. Sugar, napkins, and trays are stored here. Tomato juice and orange juice and carton cups of cream. Coffee cups with metal ring holders. All food is served gratis. After a short siesta, Miss Lane awakes to find the plane in a high fog or heavy clouds. But no one seems to be much perturbed about it. We will listen with the co-pilot to learn whether they are on the radio beam. Dot dash signifies they are to the right of the beam. So they give a little left rudder to turn to the left, and we listen again. Dash, dot, dash, dot. Now they are to the left of the beam. A little right rudder, and the ship turns back to the beam, and we hear that reassuring signal, the steady dash. Now they are out of the fog and above the clouds. The plane has made its stop at San Francisco just 2 hours after it departed from Los Angeles, a distance of about 300 air miles. In a few minutes, Barbara will arrive at the Oakland Airport on Alameda Island. Beautiful San Francisco Bay, with its world-renowned bridges, sparkles beneath it. There is Treasure Island, the setting of the Golden Gate Exposition, and not far away is the Pan American Clipper base. Here she is, the Hawaiian Clipper. Porters are loading baggage, and she's being made ready for a 2 o'clock takeoff. Oakland Airport Terminal Building, located at the other end of the island of Alameda. The pilots signal that they're about to land. Barbara leaves the other passengers to go on to Portland and Seattle, while she will get a United Airlines car to rush her to the Clipper base. Baggage and passengers, with the exception of Mr. Hartgrave, are aboard. Hartgrave has waited until the last minute for his secretary, but now he too must go aboard.
Kamukuha, Kia,